Wolverine.
No.
What the fuck?
Oh my god. What if it's just a Wolverine game?
Shut up, shut up.
Holy fuck.
Are you kidding? This is wild.
Oh my god.
Insomniac doesn't miss.
No, they don't.
Yo.
Oh my god.
Guys, let's fucking go.
Putting the console first. What does that mean? What does that mean? So, ironically, both party does this thing after I decide I'm just gonna go and build my own PC and game there. And it's been a pleasure this entire time so far. It's been, but I only believe one party, and that's PlayStation, for the simple fact that their strategy as far as multi-platform has been, I would say, from a PlayStation fanboy perspective, better, right?
We're just getting started into 2025, and Xbox has made Xbox Game Pass one of the best services and the best places to play games. Not only are they providing some of the best games that are high rated, how can you be positive about Xbox? Like for me, I don't care so much about Game Pass anymore.
And this is why I didn't ask about Game Pass, right? Because she said about multiplats and exclusive. She said, I need to look at the data, I need to learn and all that kind of thing. I need to figure out why we made these decisions. I figured that's basically going to be the same answer for Game Pass. You know, she's going to like decide whether Game Pass is the right play after she's looked at the data and analyzed the sentiment and what are the pros and cons of Game Pass. Because Xbox has got a multiple headwinds right now, you know, both internally and externally. Internally from decisions they've made which have disrupted their own business model. Externally from, you know, user demographics and tariffs and whatever else have you, you know. But I think in the near term, they need to deliver something. They need to have a sort of, I don't know, like a roadmap maybe.
Oh no, it's Alex. It's basically a glorified Xbox fan pretending he isn't one.
What does it mean? Is the console dead? By and large, yes.
Now, here's a very controversial take, I will say.
Uh-oh.
Why? Why is that the case? Is it the ports haven't lived up to expectations? Is the quality of the game not lived up to expectations coming over there? Why are PC players not wanting to play single player PlayStation games? My theory is it's because you're waiting 12, 18, 24 months later to actually put the game out on PC. And there's so many other games out there that people want to play. Been there, done that. I'm not going to go back. If you get my point, right? Especially when you're essentially charging me full price for an 18 to 24 month old game. I'm going to go play the new shiny. Just me. I'm just saying. I bet you if PlayStation games came out day and date on PC, they'd still be putting games on PC because the sales would reflect it. Look at Resident Evil Requiem right now. Record numbers on Steam right now. Single player game.
Because of the hype.
Again, the hype. And that's all I'm saying. And I already know there will be people that disagree with me. There's going to be people that are yelling at me, that are upset at me. This is my personal opinion of I would rather see player choice. Play where the hell you want. And this ain't no stupid console war thing. This ain't no, oh, but the PlayStation, oh, you're an Xbox guy. And Phil Spencer told you to say this. Phil Spencer didn't tell me nothing. He retired. He gone. This is my opinion. Okay, what I just think for the health of this industry, you should make your game available to as many people as you possibly can. It is as simple as that. So if PlayStation really, and I don't think they're doing this, by the way, I think they're going to slow down. There's going to be a slower cadence, but I don't think they're completely abandoning PC, just for the record. But worst case scenario, let's just say they did. I personally think that's a mistake because Now you need to make sure that those single player games are getting very high attach rates on just your one platform. And I'm forgetting his name now, but a dev that used to work at Naughty Dog said it best, and I'm being bad on math. It was something about when it used to cost 20 million to make a game, and you got 5 million in sales, huge revenue on it, right? But now when it's costing 200 million to make the same game, and you're only getting 5 million in sales, now it's in danger and it's in trouble and the studio shuts down. That's the reality that we're in. Again, all I'm saying is if we're going to keep doing the current model, it makes sense to have games everywhere. So unless development cost comes down, so that exactly something has to change. That's all I'm saying. And I don't know, I'm filibustering here and monologuing, but that's just my thought on the whole thing, right? That's what I personally see. Like, we're fortunate enough. I play on PlayStation all the time. I play on Xbox all the time, the PC, because I get to decide where the hell I want to play a game. Not everybody has that choice, I guess is the point I'm making. So bring the games to where the people are versus telling the people to come to you when maybe they can't afford to come to you anymore.
A little ditty going on in my head. The song is called We Have Your Exclusives. Yes, we do. We got your exclusives. Boy, does it taste good.
If PlayStation does stop PC ports, fine, go right ahead. Literally, no skin off my back. I did not care for PS4 games, and I clearly don't care for PS5 games either, and I certainly won't care for PS6 games. And hot take, I don't even care about GTA 6.
You don't get enjoyment from the video games. You get enjoyment from being on Twitter.
Expose, 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 expose.
I believe Xbox Magnus has something to do with it. Us Xbox guys, everybody in this chat, we're going to play PlayStation games. We have the ability to buy and play PlayStation games on the next gen Xbox, and they don't want that shit.
100%.
I'm not talking about their live service games. I'm talking about their single player games. Once they port them bitches to Steam, I believe.
As we can see here, as Grace picks up her clipboard and goes to bring it into her boss's office, the FSR4 side here, as the clipboard moves, forward and backward in this ping-ponged example here, there's ghosting, like these little white lines that follow the clipboard as it moves. Those are ghosts of it from its previous frames showing up in the current frame. PSSR 2.0 doesn't have that, and neither does DLSS 4.5 preset L. And there's some other, just some differences that I noticed in the intro that are a little bit confusing. One is that if you look at the trees in the intro shot, DLSS 4.5 is perhaps like the most crisp, the sharpest looking here, with PSSR 2 being a little bit behind it, and then FSR 4 looking actually a lot softer. And all throughout the intro, that was the appraisal I had, that FSR 4 looked a lot softer, including in this shot here where you can see on Grace's desk in the background, there's like a whole bunch of like newspaper clippings on the wall and whatnot. You can see that DLSS 4.5 is perhaps like the one where the text is most legible on that board. Then it's PSSR 2.0 in terms of legibility. And then FSR 4 is, noticeably behind with it being softer.
I mean, I think for them, their strategy is like live service games are coming to PC, but I think the sense I'm getting is that they're backing away from putting their exclusive console stuff, like traditional single player stuff, on PC.
Really? You think they can close that door? Is it they could start to say, okay, never mind.
I do.
Ghost of Tsushima 3 is only going to be on PlayStation.
I do.
Wow.
I do. PlayStation has its own problems that we could get into in a whole nother episode.
Maybe
it's just,
we
I
will.
don't, like, the idea of what Xbox is, I feel like has just been completely, like, we could all give 20 different definitions, and that marketing campaign, this is an Xbox, really defines what their biggest problem is that nobody knows what an Xbox is.
Right. I'm just sort of observing a strategic similarity in the way that PlayStation is now releasing The Last of Us 2. These big PlayStation exclusives are being put on PC, and in seeing the grumbling among PlayStation fans kind of saying,
yeah, I think that's going to stop. is what I'm saying.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting if it did stop. They'd be kind of moving back toward that console strategy direction.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, I'm not sure how super successful those PC releases were. I'm not 100%
Seems like
sure.
trying to put something back in a bottle or turn back the clock. That doesn't seem like it would work to me.
Oh, stopping doing that? Well, it's
Yeah.
like they never did it day and day, so the PC releases were always just kind of late to the party, and I don't think that successful in the first place. So, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's going to be that big.
You mean like sales wise successful or
yeah,
like
like
how
commercially
successful how?
successfully. Yeah, I mean that's the big question. But I mean, I think for them, their strategy.
But it also highlights another interesting feature.
And be brave enough to change what does not. Sounds good in theory, but there's a story that kept coming up during Spencer's time at Xbox, and it may be the real thing to focus on here. You see, when Phil Spencer was hired in 2014, Nadella was considering closing Xbox, just stopping it. Spencer convinced him otherwise, based on his belief in Xbox as a business and the teams he was running as the head of games. Now, per a report from The Information, that I need to say Microsoft has denied, Satya Nadella was considering closing Xbox down again in 2021. Obviously that didn't happen, and they committed to a fairly serious expansion in the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. But if that conversation happens for a third time, under Sharma, what will Satya Nadella say? And going into the next generation of consoles, do you believe Microsoft will be in any better footing? And in a case like that, will Satya want to bother? Honestly, I don't expect that he will. And be...
I don't know. I've already heard some things that I feel are what's going to happen, which is that we're setting up this person to fail with hardware because that has to fail. And that the way forward for Xbox is what we've been saying all along, which is just the software publishing part of it. And I don't know. I feel like, we know, I mean, this is a fact. Phil Spencer wanted to do an Xbox handheld.
Mm-hmm.
And the senior leadership team, or the board, whichever, said no. And that's why the ROG Ally exists, right? There was the big story that Amy Hood came down and was like, you need to have, what was 30% margin somehow on a business that's never had anything other than single digit to negative margins. Really what that was about to me was forcing the issue. Like we need to get out of hardware. We just spent $68 billion on Activision Blizzard, not so we can lose more money on another console, but so we can sell these games everywhere. She's probably there to make sense of the business as a business. She must be someone that Satya Nadella trusts for whatever reason. But maybe her detachment from the industry is part of the point, that we need someone who isn't attached to that game studio, that game, that franchise, whatever, who can look at this objectively and say, no, this is where it starts to make sense. And we're going to hate her for that. I mean, as gamers, right? As fans of Xbox, that it actually is not what we want, right? It's not her fault. I mean, I really don't want to personalize this, but I, again, I think we both made this case many times, though, it makes sense as a business. The hardware has to go. We all have this almost emotional attachment to the hardware, but that's the part that has to go.
I'm just saying that the stuff I've always heard about Sarah over many years doesn't align with all the stories I'm starting to hear now. I'm getting a light whiff of a little bit of Mean Girls, let's just push them out into the bus. A little bit of scapegoating. That's just the sense I'm getting with Sarah, and I don't like it because everything I had heard about her is very much contrary to the stories that are starting to come out now. I'm just...
As we said, our goal on Team Xbox is to bring you the world's best games. Next year, you'll discover the newest entry in this landmark franchise. On console, for the very first time, only on Xbox. This is Crossfire X.
Jez, opinion on Asher replies to Xbox exclusives. I think, and also we got Crusader with the 2, while she even commented on the exclusive post. Yeah, so I really genuinely think people shouldn't read too much into that. I think her saying "we hear you" is not necessarily like we hear you and we're gonna get rid of being multi-platform. I think that strategy is well and truly locked in, and I don't think you'll see a big shift away from being a multi-platform company.
The DNA that made the Xbox platform, the people that drove and created amazing games and brought in studios are gone. Phil Spencer has retired. Sarah Bond has resigned. And it looks dire more than ever before.
We got a big shakeup over at Microsoft's gaming business. CEO Phil Spencer, he is out. He is a over 30-year veteran of this company, nearly 40 years, actually. Also stepping down is Sarah Bond, the COO and president of Microsoft's gaming unit as well. So a big shakeup there happening. And this is all in the context of 2.5 years after that big Activision deal finally closed. That was the biggest acquisition ever, $69 billion, Scott. The gaming business has been struggling since the Activision deal did close. In fact, during the December quarter, just this past holiday season, sales were down 5%. So that Activision acquisition not really growing the business as Microsoft probably hoped. So perhaps some new leadership needed here to shake things up. We got a...
It's about time.
Now, we're going to get into the topic that means the most to me. Xbox buying WB Games.
Now, I've been thinking a lot about this. What does a return to Xbox mean, and what could they actually do? Some things that they could do that could possibly improve the Xbox experience would be, just off the top of my head, I do think that they could make some games exclusive.
And this is why I didn't ask about Game Pass, right? Because she said about multi-plats and exclusive. She said, I need to look at the data, I need to learn and all that kind of thing. I need to figure out why we made these decisions. I figured that's basically going to be the same answer for Game Pass. You know, she's going to like decide whether Game Pass is the right play after she's looked at the data and analyzed the sentiment and what are the pros and cons of Game Pass. Because Xbox has got a multiple headwinds right now, you know, both internally and externally. Internally from decisions they've made which have disrupted their own business model. Externally from, you know, user demographics and tariffs and whatever else have you, you know. But I think in the near term, they need to deliver something. They need to have a sort of, I don't know, like a roadmap maybe. And this
Starfield is about to get its Cyberpunk 2.0 moment with the release of Starfield 2.0. Now, let's talk about the Starfield 2.0 patch. Jez Corden of Windows Central explains the 2.0 patch, and let's talk about Starfield 2.0.
It is not Starfield 2.0.
I can't believe way back in 2018 when we saw that first reveal trailer, we thought we were going to get our hands on Elder Scrolls 6 just a couple of years later, and now it's been almost 10 years. But it looks like Elder Scrolls 6 is almost ready.
It's going to be a while yet.
I can't believe. Let's take a look at what Bethesda can do to make this become Starfield 2.0.
It is not Starfield 2.0.
I'm curious if you can shed light on the actual numbers of series systems. I think he's talking about like console sales for Xbox versus Game Pass numbers and how the Xbox ROG Ally is selling.
But what I can say is that, yeah, Xbox Series, as has been talked about by Microsoft itself, sales have been coming down. You see that in the hardware numbers they've reported in terms of their spending numbers. But it's not as much of a priority. And you know what? The results reflect that. When it comes to the ROG Xbox Ally, it had a nice month one, has come back down quite significantly since then.
Yeah. I wondered if the ROG Ally would put a dent in the Steam Deck So,
Nope. The ROG allies are, oh, man.
I'm curious.
Look, my foot's been in my mouth for freaking 2 years over this crap. Okay. But look, Gears E Day 1, PS5 Pro, I'll be playing it on there. Right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, whatever.
So Xbox going third party rumor. Xbox exclusive going to the PlayStation rumor. Rumor. You know what a rumor is? A rumor is a man's excuse to gossip. Do you know why? If you're a man chasing clout, that's a feminine trait. But to my fellow Xbox brothers and sisters, listen to me. Why would you listen or utterly pay attention to anything anybody on the PlayStation side even says? Because they will grab whatever headline, whatever rumor, and then they'll grab it and stretch it 1,000%, even though they've been wrong this entire generation. So explain this to me, genius. If their goal is to grow their subscription-based service, how would putting games on the competitive platform without being able to put their subscription service on that competitive platform increase their subscription base? What is it? They care about sales now? Is that what it is? These are all gossip. That's all it is. Okay? I don't understand why the Xbox fan base is reacting the way they are to rumors and gossip of Xbox going third party. Rumors and gossip that have been said since the beginning of this generation, and yet still here they are.
We made the decision that we're going to take 4 games to the other consoles.
Yeah, we're rebranding. After nearly 7 years, Xbox era is about to change.
Okay, it is. All right.
Oh dear!
In gaming, revenue increased 50% year over year to $843 million. Semi-custom sales increased year over year and declined sequentially as expected. For 2026, we expect semi-custom SoC annual revenue to decline by a significant double-digit percentage as we enter the 7th year of what has been a very strong console cycle.
It is weird to be in this kind of period of time from a 2020, hey, we got value console, we got the best console, most powerful, blah, blah, blah. And for it to have all gone so wrong for them, but now to be sitting here 5-6 years later and on the 25th anniversary of the brand, no less, and they're trying to celebrate this brand this year. And at the same time, they're allowing it and the optics of its brand to just regularly be trashed.
Amy Hood was talking down on Xbox, saying that it was first party. I don't think that has anything to do with Phil, Matt Booty, or Sarah. I believe that this is the other trio that is chasing finances. You had the financial dudes that's trying to push some agenda. You lost tons of money based upon your AI infrastructure and your goals going towards AI. But instead of addressing the issues for where you're lacking, you point the finger at that guy. If more people are not buying those titles, those third-party titles on your platform, then the loss in revenue is going to be severe. So actually being a third-party publisher, which they are, if you can look at that lineup and you can tell me that any of those titles were compelling, then I'm looking at you and telling you you're lying. None of those titles was compelling. I can't say Outer Worlds 2 was compelling. I can't say Keeper was compelling. I can't say Call of Duty Black Ops 7 was compelling.
But the thing that they've always held their hat on was gaming revenue and gaming services. They even said themselves, judge us by this. These are out of their own mouths. So to me, like, this is a big deal, especially during that period, right, where we going to say what that December, that holiday period, you got Black Friday in there. And to me, this is also an indictment of Call of Duty. This is one of the worst Call of Duties from a performance standpoint on record. And usually that holiday, that's the window. Because remember in the past when services and revenue was up, when Black Ops people were like, yo, that's Call of Duty. That's ABK saved them. That would be the rhetoric during that time. This is concerning. If I continue to see a pattern of gaming revenue and content and services down, oh boy, sounds like the Sega days to me. Gives me deja vu I don't like. But
What's going on? How can I help you? This is the central problem Amy Hood highlighted when she blamed weak first-party performance for the revenue dip. This is where the Valve connection becomes unavoidable. Even with a disappointing launch, Black Ops 7 still had to live on Steam just to reach its modest numbers. But because it launched to mixed reviews, now it's mostly negative, and faced historic low player counts for the franchise on Steam, it failed to create the PC growth Microsoft needed to grow their revenue. They are trading the total control of the Xbox ecosystem for the total reach of Steam. But as we saw this quarter, that reach comes with a heavy price. Every copy sold on Steam means Microsoft hands 20 to 30% of. This is the central problem Amy Hood highlighted when she blamed weak first-party performance for the revenue dip. This is where the Valve connection becomes unavoidable. Even with a disappointing launch, Black Ops 7 still had to live on Steam just to reach its modest numbers. But because it launched to mixed reviews, now it's mostly negative, and faced historic low player counts for the franchise on Steam, it failed to create the PC growth Microsoft needed to grow their revenue. They are trading the total control of the Xbox ecosystem for the total reach of Steam. But as we saw this quarter, that reach comes with a heavy price. Every copy sold on Steam means Microsoft hands 20 to 30% of the revenue directly to Valve. In a quarter where gaming revenue is already down 9%, paying a tax to one of your biggest competitors is a brutal reality. Microsoft is actively funding Valve's dominance because they no longer have a choice on their own. And here is where the narrative gets interesting. During the earnings call, Microsoft CEO tried to pivot. He claimed that Microsoft saw a record number of PC gaming users this quarter. But wait, if hardware is down 32% and gaming revenue is down 9%, how can you have record users? If the Xbox ecosystem is supposedly growing, why is the money shrinking? And the answer is pretty simple. The players aren't on the Microsoft store. Microsoft is counting everyone who plays Call of Duty or Forza on PC as an Xbox user. In December 2025, Steam recorded $1.6 billion in revenue, its biggest month ever. On January 11th, 2026, Steam peaked at over 42 million concurrent users. So when Microsoft says they have record PC players, what they're actually saying is our games are selling on Steam. To understand how deep this surrender goes, we have to look at the person in charge, Phil Spencer. Just 2 months ago when Valve dropped the news about their new hardware, Phil didn't come out swinging. Instead, he tweeted, "Congrats on today's announcement. As one of the largest publishers on Steam, we welcome new options for players."
But the surprising part, I guess, is like the whole revenue of content and services, because that part was supposed to grow because like you got Activision Blizzard fully integrated. You're also now releasing all your games on other platforms, so you're supposed to be making more money, and it's a decline.
Yeah.
And it looks bad because it's like, well, isn't going multi-platform supposed to sort of fix that? But
I felt the atmosphere of Kami coming through my screen, and in the end, I felt its magnet.
Xbox has been having a hard time selling consoles lately, and it didn't get any better over the 2025 holiday quarter. Microsoft has just reported its Q2 2026 earnings, including the news that hardware sales were down 32% year over year after quarter upon quarter upon quarter of hardware declines. Though we don't have actual numbers to tell how much revenue is being lost out on here, we can get a sense of how grim this is for Xbox by looking at past quarters. Last quarter, Q1 of 2026, hardware declined 29% year over year. The quarter before that, Q4 of 2025, hardware was down 22%. The quarter before that, down 6%. Before that, down 29%. And before that, 29% in Q1 of 2025, which was July to September of 2024. Going back even further through Microsoft's earnings reports, the prior year quarter saw declines of 42% in Q4 of 2024 and 31% in Q3. In the US, Xbox console sales hit an all-time November low in 2025, which is usually the busiest retail month with Black Friday. And even though there have been rumors it is considering backing off about its hardware plans recently, Xbox is still denying them, even as a former Xbox founding member says that Xbox hardware is dead.
Anytime any of this, like be it Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, I don't care.
You say 3 trillion, Rayo? I thought it was 5, like or something ridiculous. Like these companies are just so massively large, and all of this bookkeeping is fudged, obfuscated garbage for investors. It doesn't matter for us at all.
Our climbing game is coming to con.
And personally, I canceled my Game Pass, and I have not looked back since. I haven't needed to utilize it. I play mostly on PC, and I ended up just saying, you know, I just don't need this service right now. And
in gaming, revenue decreased 9% and 10% in constant currency. Xbox content and services revenue decreased 5% and 6% in constant currency.
The shortage in the memory market, how extreme is that right now?
That it's not just about the shortage of memory, it is also about the value of memory. Memory is a key enabler of AI. It is a strategic asset today, not like just a component in the system.
I'm looking at how amazingly ambitious this game is, but now you throw in, okay, PlayStation at launch.
As a business person or business sense, that makes a lot of sense. I get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a Fable fan, fuck you, PlayStation. Fuck you. I wanted this shit earlier, man. We gotta wait longer because fucking PlayStation dudes who never fucking played Fable are being fed for this shit. Fuck that shit, man. I have all the Fable games on my Xbox.
I'm looking.
I don't know if I told you this, but Future had layoffs, Windows Central had layoffs, and our entire gaming team got laid off except for me.
Jesus.
So now Windows Central gaming team is just me.
The Windows Central gaming team is just Jez?
Just Jez.
I think I expected Fable to be cross-platform at launch, but what I thought was odd is that Forza acknowledged that the PS5 version was coming. But for anybody who's, with a PS5 version, holding out for a PS5 version, I feel like there's almost this thing where it's like, well, if I hold out for PS5 version, it's probably going to be the best version. It's going to be polished. It's going to have maybe extra features. It's weird. It's a weird feeling to watch an Xbox developer showcase, because just a few years ago, there was, you'd see that logo. It's like only on Xbox, and, play it day one and it was really emphasizing that you needed to be in one particular spot to experience these games. And now it's kind of like, yeah, wherever you are, just enjoy them when they come out.
If you are a PlayStation gamer, you're getting a double dose of Playground this fall, because there'll be both Forza Horizon 6 and Fable will launch in the fall for PS5. So you got a lot to look forward to if you're on PlayStation.
And I mean, if you're a PS5 Pro owner, you are conceivably getting the best console version of these games.
True.
Maybe. I mean, it's, remains to be seen, but that's the most powerful thing out there on the console side.
One of the interesting things about this, and this really changes the conversation about how Xbox has been shipping, is that it does appear that it's going to be landing on PlayStation 5 day and date at the same time as Xbox. So that's going to make some people angry. That genuinely is, because for a while we were thinking that the narrative was probably that it comes to Xbox first and then eventually shows up on PlayStation maybe a few months, a year later, something like that. That does not appear to be the case for Fable.
Will be launching on Xbox and PC on the 19th of May. If you're a Forza fan on PlayStation, we'll be welcoming you to Japan later this year when our PlayStation version is ready. We'll be
RIP wallet or RIP computer upgrade. And all through the PC industry and even beyond that, things are actually looking dire. Manufacturers are abandoning consumer sales. Prices are about to spike across the board, and government-backed schemes are actually ensuring that your interests are not the ones that are driving manufacturing anymore. And that's all because in a world where all the factories are feeding the AI data center boom, well, fundamentally, PC building is fucked, and it looks like it won't get better.
A lot of changes will happen, and I reckon in 2026 it'll be that year again. Like we could talk about recently when certain people flipped, if it's a Tim Dog and these guys going ballistic, and some people like flipping over. And I believe 2026 will have that again, no doubt.
I don't see nobody else flipping. Sean. I think if people would have flipped, they would have flipped by now. Dave ain't going nowhere. Web Dave ain't flipping. Sir, bro, what happened to Sir, bro? Why would they flip if they haven't flipped already? What when another? They're big. All of their games are going to PlayStation, bro. There's no reason to cry. If you haven't flipped by now, why would you flip now? I mean, well, like the next round of layoffs. Now, the only way I can see people flip, Sean, and you know what I'm about to say, because you might be on that list.
Oh, shit.
If Xbox canceled the Xbox Magnus and stick to OEM. That's the only way I can see some of the people that's still around flip.
I'm not sure, bro. I'm not sure. Didn't kids move? Well, you're talking about kids move, guys.
Oh, nah, you wanted them. Oh, you.
The Xbox. I'm curious if you can shed light on the actual numbers of series systems. I think he's talking about like console sales for Xbox versus Game Pass numbers and how the Xbox ROG Ally is selling.
But what I can say is that, yeah, Xbox Series, as has been talked about by Microsoft itself, sales have been coming down. You see that in the hardware numbers they've reported in terms of their spending numbers. But it's not as much of a priority. And you know what? The results reflect that. When it comes to the ROG Xbox Ally, it had a nice month one, has come back down quite significantly since then.
Yeah. I wondered if the ROG Ally would put a dent in the Steam Deck. So,
Nope. The ROG Allies are... Oh, man.
I'm curious.
It's going to suck. You probably didn't need me or this IGN article to tell you that, but there's no foreseeable end to the memory shortages in sight, and even the most optimistic predictions only see prices stabilizing in 2026, meaning they'll stay high but stop getting worse, which is small consolation to anyone who needs a new system or an upgrade. Old hardware might be the saving grace for PCs this year, and already trends towards previous generations that started in late 2025 with a DDR4 kick, but have now extended to include downright geriatric DDR3 platforms will likely continue.
But things are getting a little complicated out there because of companies like OpenAI gobbling up all the RAM. So now RAM prices are through the fucking roof. And because of that, these companies need these parts to put them. The console manufacturers are debating whether or not to delay the next gen consoles from the current window of like 2027, 2028. First and foremost was, I think a delay really can hurt the chances of us ever seeing more Xbox hardware because of how snappy decisions are made. Like 2027 feels like the right window for Xbox because you can just eke one last good time out. But if it's now 2029, 30, I see that Satya Amy Hood speak clicking in like, do we really need this, guys? Like, that's what I think of them in the boardroom. Do we even need this? Like, look at the earnings. Look how many people are buying this.
Forza launching later on PS5. They're not really being specific about it. How long do you think this period is? And do you think Fable's day and date, Chris?
Fable is day and date.
Fable's day and date. I'm hearing.
That's what I've been told.
Fable's day and date.
But those are sorts of details. This is where insiders misstep, right?
Mhm.
Those are the sorts of details that can be changed a week before or a day before. Yes, it's coming to PS5. I'd expect it to be day and date because I know they've been targeting PS5 for a while. Forza, I mean, I don't know the full story of Forza, but the explanation I was told by someone who was there was like it just wasn't ready.
It is more the fact that Halo coming to Xbox, Halo coming to PlayStation is from a
not
brand,
a big deal
is a big deal in a brand sense, but it's
Sorry.
Forza Horizon being confirmed before release.
It's their biggest game.
The fact that pre-release they're saying this is coming to PlayStation for me is the end of an era for Xbox.
So the game is coming to PS5.
Yay! We got another one.
So the game is coming to PS5.
Yay! We got another one.
Since GTA it's a very unusual release for a lot of reasons, but one of the most unusual parts of it is that it's only coming out on PlayStation and Xbox. It's not coming on PC. And Xbox is almost a non-factor. I mean, for this game, it won't be. I'm sure it'll sell in the millions on Xbox, but PlayStation is the main platform. So it's almost, in some ways, it's kind of like a PlayStation exclusive in that most of the sales will be on PlayStation and it will sell a lot of PlayStation 5s alongside it. So I suspect that Sony is planning its entire calendar around GTA and will not release anything within the blast zone.
As we were just talking about with GTA 6, are we going to see Xbox in a scenario where they are trying to push people towards PC gaming in a year where the biggest video game ever comes out not on PC? Is that where we're heading? Is that a winning strategy for Xbox?
Yeah.
We shall see.
Yeah. Xbox is so strange. So I've reported with my colleagues at Bloomberg that they've been under a lot of pressure over the last couple of years from Microsoft. Microsoft has been putting these huge profit margins and basically saying, hey, like you need to be more profitable. And what's interesting about Xbox's business is that their hardware has always been sold at a loss. And so that's the opposite of profitable. And so it's almost like if they're being told, hey, you need to get more profits and their hardware does the opposite of that, it almost benefits them to sell fewer pieces of hardware. And
they're nailing it.
Yeah.
You know, like if they had made Doom exclusive and they had made Elder Scrolls 6 exclusive, you know, because there's just such a passionate fan base there. And it's hard not as a fan, it's hard not to think, is there a universe where we could peer into another dimension and like the Fallout TV shows popping off, you know, and maybe like, God, what if like Fallout 5 was exclusive, you know? The era of Xbox going hard on hardware is well and truly over, you know. And if you want that universe of excitement and like, you know, big reveals and stuff like that, and I don't think that's the kind of thing Xbox is interested in doing anymore.
You got to PlayStation for that.
Chris R55 says, "Hey Jez, why is Xbox only now starting to make consoles ahead of GTA? It feels like something they should have been doing for a while." You know, Chris, I don't think Microsoft is gonna make consoles for GTA. I think Microsoft is well and truly done with this gen, and I think Microsoft is well and truly done with consoles. Part of me was like, when I first saw some of this discourse, I was kind of like, I don't want them to delay it because I want something new.
Do you have any idea what a comparable PC build would be to the PlayStation 5 Pro? Because to me, that $700 price tag with, you know, $100 worth of other components puts you in the $800 range. And at some point, I have to imagine people are saying, maybe I should just go to PC at this point.
Because when GPUs cost $5,000, the same price as a used car, as I saw somebody talk about on social media, why in the world would you buy it?
Amy Hood was talking down on Xbox saying that it was first party. I don't think that has anything to do with Phil, Matt Booty, or Sarah. I believe that this is the other trio that is chasing finances. You had the financial dudes that's trying to push some agenda. You lost tons of money based upon your AI infrastructure and your goals going towards AI. But instead of addressing the issues for where you're lacking, you point the finger at that guy. If more people are not buying those titles, those third-party titles on your platform, then the loss in revenue is going to be severe. So actually being a third-party publisher, which they are, if you can look at that lineup and you can tell me that any of those titles were compelling, then I'm looking at you and telling you you're lying.
You don't have a PS5? I'm sorry. I thought that was...
Sounds like Microsoft is putting pressure on Bethesda to release the game for their 25th anniversary in 2026. Marketing for Elder Scrolls 6 Iliac will start ramping up in January of 2026, and the information right now is the game will be exclusive to Xbox and PC for a short window, possibly 3 to 6 months before it comes to PlayStation 5.
Because this is one of the ones I wrote down, but I called it Xbox nearly completes its Sega moment. You guys were talking about the Halo announcement. And I was thinking about how, was it their community manager had the PlayStation shirt in terms of letting their fans down softly? Maybe not using the PlayStation shirt was the move. But
yeah, I don't. Here's what I'm going to say about Starfield, this 2.0.
Yeah,
it's sad that they're going to bring out the best version of that game straight into PlayStation. Those people that don't have an Xbox are going to be able to experience Starfield for the first time in its best iteration. And
oh
it's
my
sad
days!
Wow. No, I mean, but it's true. Like it sucks that it's just that way.
There is a huge value to the brand of having strong exclusives.
That, console exclusive games are not a thing anymore.
They're a thing.
They're a thing, but do you think they're on their way out?
I don't think every game has to be console exclusive. I don't think every game should be console exclusive. But I do accept the fact that if you're going to have platform companies like Sony and like Nintendo largely, Microsoft is more of the Xbox everywhere, anywhere. There is a huge value to the brand of having strong exclusives. If Mario starts showing up on PlayStation, that's the apocalypse, right? Cats and dogs living together. Of course, the other thing with multi-platform that people got to, I'm sure most people realize that, but when you do code across multiple platforms, you do have to code to the lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
Right. But if you do exclusives, you can push every lever to 11. Certainly, if you're looking for a massively multiplayer game, then you almost have to go multi-console, multi-platform, because you've got to rip that funnel open as wide as possible to get people in there. Certainly for free to play, because you're only converting 3% of the users. So you don't want 3% of 20 million. You want 3% of 200 million.
Wow, if the rumors of Microsoft's next machine being like $1,000 plus PC-like machine are true, what does Xbox even mean anymore? I think it means failure.
And was not planned. I don't think this was. I've been past, again, back to me. This is a newsroom. We're getting phone calls. People are moving up. I've been past something that, again, reiterates to me. I'm not going to read it, but reiterates of oh, no, this was not planned. No,
yeah, 100%.
Well, man, people are still debating in the.
That's
saying,
crazy.
Chad, if you trust us, what I'm seeing, I'm saying this was not planned. Was not.
If that disappears, there's no flavor in the space. There's no flavor. When Xbox, a lot of people are like, oh, and I was arguing with who? Oh no, it's Alex. Oh, you just want to one-up PlayStation guys. That's why you care about exclusivity. Broski, if I wanted to one-up PlayStation guys because of exclusivity, what leg do I have to stand on if I'm an Xbox fan and have no exclusives? I would do what everyone else, or so many of the Xbox guys in the space have done. Just done a U-turn on on exclusivity. Exclusivity is disappearing. Is good for the industry. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. And they're like, if that disappears, there's no flavor in the space. There's no flavor. When Xbox, a lot of people are like, oh, and I was arguing with who? Oh no, it's Alex. Oh, you just want to one-up PlayStation guys. That's why you care about exclusivity. Broski, if I wanted to one-up PlayStation guys because of exclusivity, what leg do I have to stand on if I'm an Xbox fan and have no exclusives? I would do what everyone else, or so many of the Xbox guys in the space have done. Just done a U-turn on on exclusivity. Exclusivity is disappearing. Is good for the industry. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. And they're like, oh, but you're a PC gamer. Shouldn't you be rallying behind no exclusives? Listen, just because I'm a PC gamer doesn't mean I'm a selfish piece of shit that I don't want the industry to thrive. And that's the main thing. The difference between me and a lot of other people is I want the industry to thrive, even if it's at the behest of my tastes. I'd rather play PlayStation first-party titles like Soros. I want to play on my PC. It looks beautiful. The game looks great. I don't want to buy a freaking PlayStation for that. I'll go back to a console after playing with this level of fidelity on my beast of a rig that makes a PlayStation 6 probably look like a piece of shit. But at the same time, it's not about me. It's about what happens in the space, the excitement in the space, the value proposition in the space. Microsoft is a mega publisher now. If there was any, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if there was any remote chance that these bastards had the freaking spine to go ahead and fight this war, and console war and this competition. But Asher Sharma comes in, I'm like, I'm gonna bring the renegade spirit back, and all the freaking Xbox guys going, oh, so lame. It's so lame.
Why is it so heavy though? Oh, it's stuffed. Shut the fuck up. A an official Fortnite? Oh my god! I guess it's time to retire my Xbox.
Bringing it back to the present, you must be here for a reason, and I already know you got something up your sleeve. Well, if you were wearing longer ones, Damon, but do you want to hit us with a little world premiere?
World premiere.
It is coming to Xbox, PC, and for the first time, PlayStation. It'll be arriving next year.
Halo is coming to PlayStation. You heard it right. It's coming to PlayStation. I mean, I cannot even believe it. Brian, how excited are you about this evolution here?
It's a huge deal, Lottie. It's a long time coming. We're just super excited to be able to welcome even more players now into the franchise we love.
Bringing it.
So we're incredibly excited to launch this spring South of Midnight on PlayStation 5 and Switch 2. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
They used their rare award win to announce that the game is coming to PlayStation.
And that Xbox question is this: what, if anything, is Xbox going to drop at the Game Awards, and should they bring something to the table?
Based off the fact that they've been talking so much about the next gen console, just like they did in 2019, that I feel like they're going to repeat the 2019 Game Awards and hit us with what's coming next year.
Happy holidays. Good night, everybody.
And that.
So we're incredibly excited.
Additionally, with today's Redstone launch driver, FSR Frame Generation is also now available for players running Call of Duty Black Ops 7 on AMD's 9000 series graphics cards.
But the reality is Xbox had zero sales for the first time in 25 years. Xbox did not even advertise their consoles, and they didn't even drop the price whatsoever. In fact, Jez Corden of Windows Central announced just before the show went up that Xbox has a post-Black Friday deal on games and DLC, zero hardware, zero controllers, zero consoles, nothing for their headsets, just deals on digital-based games. And this is where we are with Xbox, and you wonder why they're the laughing stock of the world right now. Yeah.
I can't announce anything today, but in 2026, it's the 25th anniversary of Xbox, and we want to celebrate the great legacy and the history that we have with Xbox, as well as defining the future for where the Xbox ecosystem's going. So I can't confirm or deny what you're asking, but stay tuned. We have a lot of exciting things to share next year. I can't.
So the ridiculous point, right? So people make this argument, and now that it comes out that, oh, Xbox Series S is one Black Friday. Oh no, not only did it win Black Friday, it also PS5.
All right. Here's the thing that, gosh, these armchair analysts, kid, like they don't ever think past as far as they can reach, right? They're crazy. PlayStation 5 is in more demand. It's like, is it? I mean, last time I checked, you cannot find a Series X. They're both sold out. Here's the other part, kid.
Yeah.
This is my favorite. The Series S and X, well, the X is sold out, and the Series S won the Black Friday sales. You don't need an Xbox. Nobody needs an Xbox. You know, it's irrelevant. They've made their console irrelevant, but people are still buying them.
Yeah. So
like, because if you chart what happened at the beginning of the gen with COVID and the pandemic and how the consoles were actually selling out, I mean, for almost 2 years there, they were like the Xbox Series X and X was selling faster than any of their consoles, and that was with like lower production, but they were selling out as fast as they could make them. In fact, you know, I know PlayStation had their problems too with hardware production, but they outsold like PlayStation 6 quarters in a row. And Xbox had a lot of great content. Maybe not necessarily at launch. Like,
if you're open to all the flavors of video game this offers up, or just interested in an ever-expanding, free-to-play alternative to the open-world RPGs you typically have to pay top dollar for, I recommend Where Winds Meet.
Halo's your flagship. There is no Xbox without Halo. So if Halo were to now start showing up on your competitor's platform, I think you start losing some of your identity as being Xbox. But even let's just say it's Gears. Let's just go with that one. Even if it's Gears, you start losing some of your identity because these are your flagship titles. These are a reason that you would want to go jump into an Xbox ecosystem. So why would I go buy an Xbox? I would continue to keep a PlayStation, play all the PlayStation games, and then play the Xbox games when they show up on my platform. Or if I don't own a PlayStation or an Xbox right now and I'm looking to get a console, I'm probably going to go get a PlayStation because I only need one console at that point. I don't need multiple consoles. So
this ain't it. How did we go from storming the beaches of Normandy and talking about smoke tech and Call of Duty 2 to whatever the hell this is? All in all, this is a Call of Duty I don't think you should play. Treyarch, I hope you do better next time. I want to see you succeed, but this is not it. Period.
I don't really care about PlayStation 5 as a platform and the hardware. Like, to me, that's worthless at this point. Now, Herman seems to be, he seems to be interested, like, his part is more so the software side of things more than anything else. So that's what I'm interested in. Some things that personally I hope that he does. I hope he concentrates less on television and film. Definitely make sure more video games get out there, more experiences that are more catered towards the gamer and not necessarily towards entirely revenue. Like PlayStation going all in on the service-based games absolutely blew up in their face. They ended up canceling like a bunch of them. And now PlayStation's in a situation where their first party is almost entirely, they're nowhere to be found. The last, first party title PlayStation released was Spider-Man 2. That was the end of last year. And then the one before that was what, God of War Ragnarok, which was the end of the previous year. So one first party exclusive a year is not cool. I mean, on PC, we've been getting all your games. So PC's been graced with a lot of new games from PlayStation, so that's cool. But would like to see, more output from PlayStation overall so that they get to my PC faster. And PlayStation's been struggling, my guy. They've been struggling. Their first party output is shit this generation. If y'all can afford to give up more money after literally putting out dog shit that's costing you insane amounts of money, then you know what? I fucking dare you. Sony, if you're serious about taking games off of PC, if you're going to stop releasing your first party one tentpole title a year release, if you're serious about not releasing them on PC anymore, bet. If you're going to do that, how about you shut down Nexus Studios as well? In my opinion, your best fucking studio. Shut down Nexus. And matter of fact, if you really about that exclusivity life, how about you make your future games, right? Your future live service slop. How about you make it exclusive to the Epic Game Store? If you really care about exclusives that much, if exclusives mean that much to you, make your live service dog shit exclusive to the Epic Game Store and close down Nexus Studios. I fucking dare you, you fucking pussies. Not for nothing. Yo, you just gotta call their bluff, bro. I'm sorry. PlayStation, you don't got it like that no more. PlayStation ain't what it used to be. I ain't missing out on much. If Ghost of Yotei comes to PC, I will not be buying that because guess what? Ghost of Yotei is not as good, not as flashy, not as fresh as Ghost of Tsushima was. All right, so y'all can do this and do that. Look, man, I don't give a fuck. I don't need Wolverine. I don't need Ghost Yote. I don't need your next fucking retarded ass Spider-Man 3 game that's gonna throw Peter Parker under a bus and make him a pussy. I don't need that shit. I don't need it. We don't need it. It's fine. We gonna be just the fuck fine without your fucking first party releases. That's really all it is.
PlayStation's secrecy about showing logos and everything else on screen. Every time Xbox has a showcase, what do? They just tell you it's going to be on these platforms. Everybody there, just deal with it. That's what it is. That's just what it is. Fable, PS5, we don't care. It's just going to go there. PlayStation, on the other hand, here's what they do. They don't show you the logos of other platforms. They try to convince you that it's only going to be here, and this is the only place to play your games, you guys. And then what happens? You go online, you search for the game, and it turns out that sumbitch is everywhere. I can play that game wherever I want. I don't have to go to your stupid ecosystem to pay for your stupid online platform to rent a console now because you guys don't want to actually raise the price of your systems. That's exactly what I mean. PlayStation's secrecy about showing logos and everything else on screen. Every time Xbox has a showcase, what do? They just tell you it's going to be on these platforms. Everybody there, just deal with it. That's what it is. That's just what it is. Fable, PS5, we don't care. It's just going to go there. PlayStation, on the other hand, here's what they do. They don't show you the logos of other platforms. They try to convince you that it's only going to be here, and this is the only place to play your games, you guys. And then what happens? You go online, you search for the game, and it turns out that sumbitch is everywhere. I can play that game wherever I want. I don't have to go to your stupid ecosystem to pay for your stupid online platform to rent a console now because you guys don't want to actually raise the price of your systems. That's exactly what I mean by them lying to you. They are lying via omission, and they've been doing it for an incredibly long period of time.
I don't give a fuck, homie. What the fuck?
Whoa. When you have it, what's the first thing like? Does it feel like an Xbox thing or more of an Asus thing?
It feels more like an Asus thing. It is a Windows 11 device.
Only words, the only factual words that we have heard from every person at Xbox was that the games that were going were those 4 games for those 4 specific reasons. If you need any more proof that there was a very specific reason that they put Hi-Fi Rush over there, maybe the fact that they shut that motherfucker down because it did not perform over there as well, right? Very specific reasons that this took place, right? He said nothing is changing. Phil Moore quoted him earlier. I don't know if I clicked it. I wanted to click him. But he said our exclusive plan or the way they do exclusive is not their exclusive strategy isn't changing. Nothing.
And I hope they, by the way, don't bring Doom over. I would prefer that to be an exclusive, but we'll see. We'll see. But we're hearing, and this is the thing, we're hearing. I don't have proof of it until they tell me, but we're hearing
exactly.
that
Well,
it's
also
be
remember that if we're going based off of Phil's words, because again, it's the only thing that fucking matters, right? Between Phil, Sarah, and Matt, he said case by case basis with Bethesda. This is known. This is not fucking made up random shit that, oh my God, this is happening. No, he fucking said it before. So if it happens, then this is one of those case by case. If it doesn't happen, then we know that he said fuck them in their special case. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all we know. All right. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. The homie Fee A. Marie was good.
What's up, baby? Thank you so much
for that £2 super chat. I appreciate you, homie. Thank you for being here. Says 1% gamers on X whining, and the other 99% don't give a fuck.
It's exactly why I'm waiting for the marketing of COD, because it's starting and it's got Xbox written all over it. I can't wait to see what the result is, right? PlayStation has jack shit to offer. We'll see what happens at the end of this year. How many consoles are sold? How many people are playing on Xbox versus playing on Call of Duty on PlayStation? Marketing matters much more than anything else. All the Twitter stuff is just, whatever. Twitter does not represent the reality of the world.
Absolutely not.
Facts.
It's a mess out there.